faces of 1997. In every one of them, a tale as different as the features that tell them apart. Great events.
That's what he's done. He's done it. That'll do it. Unbelievable result.
The US Open, a peak scaled by an elite party of Australians. And not since Pat Cash won Wimbledon in 1987 had an Australian reached Grand Slam altitude. But from the summit, a new champion with a distinctly down-under approach.
It's been a great experience, but you know, if I fall to 50 in the world and I'm happy, it's a lot better than being number one and being a pain in the arse, you know.
Your 1997 US Open men's singles champion, Patrick Rafter.
For Kathy Freeman, a more gradual ascent, but the view at the 400 metres mark no less spectacular.
She's just in front, the Aussie. I think she's got them. Miles Clark comes at her. Kathy hanging on. Yes, she's done it.
The first Australian woman to win gold at a World Athletics Championships, but the change in golf's racial fabric.
There it is, a win for the ages.
Just 6 years after Augusta was open to black membership, Tiger Woods became the first to win a US Masters. And that wasn't the only landmark. His 12-shot winning margin, the biggest in history. His score of 18 under, the lowest ever. A swimmer with every right to look like a fish out of water. Australia's Michael Klim cracked the world 100 metres butterfly record at the National Championships. Might and Power became just the 10th horse to win the Melbourne Cup Caulfield Cup double. For jockey Jim Cassidy, redemption for past misdeeds. But for colleague Darren Beadman, an even saintlier path, announcing his retirement to join the ministry. So near, yet the World Cup remains a distant dream for our Socceroos. Before almost 90,000 people at the MCG, their 2-goal lead against Iran unbelievably became a 2-all draw. The Iranians qualified for France 98. Australia condemned to another 4 years of waiting. A year to forget for Australia's rugby union team. 12 tests, 6 losses, including a record 39-point defeat by South Africa. Coach Greg Smith resigned, replaced by Rod McQueen. Basketball and Australia's under-23 side won the World Championship in Melbourne. The city's Tigers turned a losing streak into the NBL title, while in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls did it again, their 5th title in 7 years.
World beater.
And that's it.
In the Davis Cup, victories over France and the Czech Republic were duly celebrated.
I actually started sobering up halfway through, and so I started feeling really good.
He copped some flack over that, and we eventually lost to the USA in the quarters. Having already made and lost 5 finals, Rafter volleyed his way through to another, the US Open. On the way, he rolled, among others, Magnus Norman, Andre Agassi, then world number 2, Michael Chang.
He's taken this crowd to heart. They love him.
That set up a final with Greg Rosetsky, and Rafter didn't let this one get away.
Yes.
And he does.
The Englishman fell in 4. Rafter, the first Australian US Open winner in 24 years.
That'll do it. Unbelievable result. Pat Rafter is the 1997 US Open champion.
6-2, 4-6.
By year's end, his ranking jumped from 63 to 2 in the world, behind Pete Sampras. And to top it off, he was voted the world's sexiest sportsman.
It's amazing how good looking you've become after winning the US Open, first of all.
Got him, yes.
Australia laid undisputed claim to being the world's best Test cricket team.
Australia retains the Frank Worrell Trophy
Wins over the Windies here, then South Africa in Africa. Ian Healy wrapping that series up.
Let's win the game. There it is.
And then the Ashes. Red-hot favourites, we got comprehensively rolled at Edgbaston.
One in, and a beautiful delivery.
The only bright spot, Taylor's return to form with a ton.
There it is, well played into the gap and cover, and listen to the crowd.
The second test was washed out. Warned the destroyer in the third, taking 5 for 48 on the way to Australia's comfortable win. He enjoyed it. Another solid win at Headingley meant Australia could seal the Ashes at Trent Bridge. They did. England bowled out for 186, Australia claiming its 5th consecutive Ashes series win. The hangover obviously lasted into the 6th test, which we lost inside 3 days.
Well, you'd have thought they'd won the series.
But the biggest headache for cricket still lingers. The dispute over pay and conditions has the prospect of industrial action hanging over the game. And the national side is suffering from something of a split personality, with Taylor and Healy dumped from the one-day team. Super League and the ARL finally settled their differences, reuniting in one competition from next season. They had to. Fans were disappearing in droves despite some great on-field moments, like Goldthorpe's sudden death field goal in the Tri-Series final.
It's over! They've got it! The Blues have got it!
The Brisbane Broncos dominated Super League. Kevin Walters, Langer and Renouf just too good.
Renouf finds his way over.
The grand final was played in Brisbane against Cronulla.
Oh, Cronulla are over! The try that they wanted so badly!
The Sharks showing plenty of passion, but the Broncos took the title.
What a night for Brisbane!
Manly was the ARL's form side. They'd rolled grand final opponents Newcastle in their previous 11 games.
Abawadi will score!
2 tries gave Manly a 10-point lead, but Newcastle were dogged, coming back where the others might have folded.
He'll go over!
O'Davis got out from under to equalise, and suddenly the tables turned. 2 Knights field goals missed, and then with only seconds to go, winger Darren Albert crossed for the match winner.
Albert will score! Newcastle have won the grand final!
The emotion of it all reminding league fans why they follow the game. There was plenty going on in AFL too. Greg Williams fighting suspension in the Supreme Court. Robert Harvey won the Brownlow. Chris Grant scored higher, but suspension ruled him out. Some top names retired. Ablett, Kernahan, Williams and Madden among them. On the field, St Kilda made their first grand final in 26 years. They were hot favourites against Adelaide's Crows and led by 13 at half-time.
Magnificent!
But the third quarter was all Adelaide. They turned the match on its head, going into the final quarter up by 10, then stormed home on Jarman's boot.
Oh, that will do!
Having lost once to Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson stepped up for the big rematch.
The punch by Evander Holyfield.
The bout was bizarre. Outboxed, Iron Mike came out biting in the third.
What happened here?
He got bit, I think.
He was warned, but in the next clinch went crazy again.
Holyfield now. A left hook.
He bit him again. He bit him again.
His disqualification cost him $4 million, a tenth of his payment. He also lost whatever credibility he had left and is still banned. The whole affair's so nasty it even shocked him.
I was wrong, and I expect to pay the price like a man.
The real question is Tyson up to the rematch spin Dr. Don King will undoubtedly arrange?
Tiger Woods at the bottom 316.
Everyone knew Tiger Woods could smack a golf ball. Just how well was the question. He answered that in the US Masters.
For Tiger. And look at this golf shot.
He mauled the world's best, setting up a 9-stroke lead after 3 rounds.
There it is. Look out.
Last year, that margin was enough to choke Greg Norman, but there was no repeat. Tiger finessing a record 12-stroke win.
There it is, a win for the ages.
He's the first Afro-American and at 21 the youngest player to wear the green jacket. His efforts inspiring hordes of kids and terrifying golf's establishment with what's to come. For now, though, Greg Norman remains world #1.
He played very well today.
It means a lot because, you know, I got to the lead and then I had to keep it going.
Kari Webb making the double. She finished the season the top woman.
And my goodness, is she going to finish this thing in style?
Mick Doohan retained his world championship almost too easily. The most wins in a season. The only disappointment, a crash out in front at Phillip Island, denying him his home GP.
Doohan's crashed.
Jacques Villeneuve won the Formula One championship. The final race, the decider. Michael Schumacher winning, well, no friends at all.
I don't think. Out goes Michael Schumacher.
Either Michael had his eyes closed or somehow his hands slid on the steering or something.
Kathy Freeman became world champion, taking out the 400 metres in Athens.
Yes, she's done it. She's won it.
Michael Klin set a world record in the 100-metre fly at the Australian Championships.
It's a world record!
It's a world record.
At the same meet, some kid named Grant Hackett became the new 1500-metre king. Kowalski second, then Perkins, who missed out on the World Championships.
Once I am fit and up and running, you know, it's up to the rest of the guys to try and keep up.
They'd all run out of puff in Susie Moroney's wake. She became the first person to swim from Cuba to the United States. The Socceroos, chock full of talent and with gun coach Terry Venables at the helm, couldn't qualify for the World Cup. Two late goals from Iran denied Australia a trip to France when it seemed for sure they were on their way. Peter Brock raced his last at Bathurst after 3 decades. 9 wins and a legion of fans will keep his legend alive.